I think one of the questions that you will hear from opponents, even those who support the Vikings and are fans, is if Ziggy Wilf can afford to pay $25 million to Brett Favre, why can't he afford to build his own stadium? And or if the state's going to help, why should he get the real estate developments around there? What are your cogent answers to that?
Yeah, and it's a fair question, and it's one of the challenges that we have to overcome in terms of the public discussion on this issue. The Wilfs are good owners. They are committed to the long term in Minnesota. They have put in their own investment, their own dollars into building a winning team, expanding our community relations programs and dollars into the community. They're really the right kind of people and owners to have. So we really are fortunate to have them as owners. That being said, this is a public asset, not just the team, but I'm talking about the facility. The Metrodome has had 77 million visitors since its opening. It's been used by community groups and sporting groups and high school athletics, amateur sports throughout the state of Minnesota. So it's a publicly owned facility, publicly used, and which benefits the public. So that's the kind of partnership that we need to get into, is to take advantage of the fact that the Wilfs want to invest significant dollars and let's leverage that private capital into a public good and reconstruct a facility that is used statewide year-round by the community, besides just the Vikings for 10 games. So that's my cogent attempt at an answer.
You should work on it. Okay. On Friday, just before the preseason game, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, who just built a $1 billion stadium with some public funding, but it was generally
$325 million from the public.
But he spoke about the changing nature of the economics of the league, and when the union management contract expires after probably 2011, I guess it is, the revenue sharing that has supported small market teams might go away. And he talked about how the Cowboys would then be further subsidizing the Vikings and other teams. What are the implications of that? And if football becomes like baseball, what would that mean to the Vikings and to your effort to build a stadium?
Well, it is a significant issue, and you know, the basic issue with the Metrodome is it's been great for the community. It's been a wonderful asset for the 28 years that it's been here. It's generated a lot of return on investment. It's generated a lot of tax proceeds to the state and local government, but it no longer can compete in terms of modern sports economics as well as a game day experience. If you go to the XL Energy Center or when the new Twins ballpark opens, you'll see the dramatic difference between what it's like for a fan at a game, and so the Metrodome is clearly outdated. And the thing that Jerry Jones pointed to was that the other teams in the league, and basically the NFL through its revenue sharing, have subsidized this market. And you know, Jerry did his best to try to shame us, say that Kansas City and Green Bay and some of these smaller towns are subsidizing a metro area of $3.5 million to keep the Vikings in Minnesota, and in his words, that's going to stop. And to your question, Jay, the issue of revenue sharing is a significant issue for the Vikings. It allows us to compete, and it's one of the great things about the NFL: long-term labor peace, great television deals, and revenue sharing that allow, and a salary cap which requires teams to pay a minimum amount of salary, but also limits to what they can pay. So all 32 teams spend roughly the same amount of money, and that's why you have parity and changeover in terms of winners. It's an important underpinning for the entire league and the economics. So we are concerned about it, and Minnesota should be concerned about it. And again, it's another issue as to why we need to really grapple with this and try to bring it to close here, so we can get past that issue.
Thank you, Lester. Thank you, Jake. We have a round of applause for them. We're talking about the stadium issue. I know some of you are listening up on the bridge and some over here. Does anyone have a question about the stadium issue? We've got the experts here that you might want to pose about what it's going to take to get the Minnesota Vikings a new home, where the process stands. Is there a question from anyone? Oh, there's a question from that gentleman there. Wonderful. There's a microphone right here for you, sir.
Go easy on me now. We're friends.
Thanks, Lester. I can't show up my reporter either, right? Okay, my question is, in the end, with the Twins, what they got was a deal where only one county ended up putting a tax on its people. How do you, in the end, think it'll be possible to get the public financing? Who will pay to build the Vikings new stadium?
And that is the bottom line: is how do we fund this project? It is expensive. And partially because of delay. And this project has doubled in cost since 2001, and it is no doubt an expensive proposition. And the Twins were sort of kind of forced into the partnership. Hennepin County stepped up, and fortunately they did, because I believe that Hennepin County saved the Twins, and we would have most likely lost the Twins if the county wouldn't have stepped up. We've had the governor in the past and others say, who's your local partner? Like the Twins had Hennepin County. Who are the Vikings going to partner with? And the point I made earlier about a statewide asset, a region-wide asset, and the tremendous impact that the Vikings have on the community and on the economy, and the size of this project. We really need this to be a regional partnership or a statewide partnership. So that's why we need state leaders to stop avoiding the issue and pushing it off onto Hennepin County in the Twins case, and step up and really, like other markets have done, what is the best, most appropriate way to pay for this facility? But it's clear that there is no one local partner that can do this project, nor is it appropriate for one. And I know, Jay, you probably have analysis of this too.
My view is that many things have to happen. Key things have to happen. The price of the stadium somehow has to come down. Lester might not agree with that. The contribution from the owners has to come up. But there's no doubt that it is a statewide issue. And the tax, whatever it would be, gets spread far more evenly across 5 million people than the 2.8 or whatever it is in Hennepin County. Plus, all the money that accrues from pro sports in this state, almost all the money, goes to the state general fund, and it doesn't go anywhere else. Hennepin County gets Zippo, other than that sales tax, which then goes back into paying off the bonds. And the other issue that Lester is dear to his heart is that on a given Sunday in Minnesota, I think, depending on who the game is, between 65 and 70% of the TVs that are on are watching the game. And so in every legislative district, there are people who are sensitive to the Vikings being an important asset. Now, that being said, there's still a big debate as to whether it's right for the state to fund it at all, exactly how much the owner should give, et cetera, et cetera. But the local partner idea is just bogus. There is none. The city of Minneapolis can't afford it. Hennepin County can't afford it. It's not going anywhere else. So, and the regional issue is also problematic, particularly because Anoka County now isn't real happy with the Vikings, and I can't see their county commissioners voting on. And it isn't just a regional issue, it's a statewide issue. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, and one important fact about the Metrodome: it was built in 1982, $55 million, $33 million in public money. The state of Minnesota put in zero. Not one penny was put in by the state of Minnesota to the Metrodome, and in return, in a study that the Sports Commission did, was completed by RSM McGladrey, showed that in return, the Metrodome has generated $245 million in tax proceeds to the state and local government, 234 of that to the state of Minnesota. So, state of Minnesota zero in, 234 million out. It's the argument that it's been paid forward. It's Jay's point about it's a statewide benefit, and we really need to get busy. And this is the crux of the issue, and what we really need. And I wish that, in a great question, and I wish that we were at the table with the governor and the Speaker of the House and the Majority Leader in the Senate to be grappling with that very issue, because that's what's missing in this debate right now.
And just one final thing on the regional nature. When the dome was built, there was a regional tax. And then when the stadium was awarded to Minneapolis, the other counties dropped out. So that's the history of the politics of having a regional tax. If there's no return to the other counties, I don't see them contributing to something that they view as a Minneapolis stadium. On the other hand, if it's conceived as a statewide stadium, you know, there might be some strength to that. But I believe we need to redefine how the stadium is used, what's in it, who can use it, but that's, of course, another day.
Okay, thank you very much, Jay. Any more questions? You have a question about the stadium. Wonderful.
Well, it's not really about the stadium. It's kind of off topic, but I know the Minnesota Vikings are very, very into the community. They're very helping. They volunteer everywhere. This is kind of like, I'm with the Minneapolis Youth Congress. My name is Tracy. Just asking, how do you feel about, as far as the Youth Vikings being contributors to their community and the stadium being built and putting money into the youth centers that are around? I mean, we have the stadiums, we have, you know what I'm saying, the games that we go to, everything's funded, but we don't put money into something that, to me, I feel is essential to our community as far as our young people and the youth centers that we need. How do you feel about it?
Well, Tracy, thanks for your question and thanks for your help with the Youth Congress. It was touched on earlier about what the Vikings do provide in terms of community support, and you know, the last couple of years we were the only NFL team to have all 53 players on our roster participate in the community relations program, and we have it's a bottom line you know, function of our organization and our players and our coaches and our staff is to give back to the community and to partner and to do stuff with children and family related causes throughout the metro and throughout the state of Minnesota, which we've really stepped up. So there is by having the Vikings here, we have that opportunity to focus on and give back and connect and use the celebrity of the Vikings and the players, if you will, to really focus on causes such as yours that are important. You know, in terms of the investment in the asset of a facility versus another program, there is opportunity to do a lot, and to do both, and we do, and I'm not trying to say that a new stadium that the Vikings will play in is more important than any other program in the state, and I think we can do both, and we can partner, and we can do both together, and we do that well as an organization. But again, the facility will be owned by the public, used by the public, benefit to the public as much as possible. We need it for 10 games. We need revenue for 10 games. The rest needs to be given back to the community and used and supported in support of the community and supported by the community.
Can we have a round of applause for Lester Bagley with the Minnesota Vikings and Jay Weiner, who looked for his book this summer on the Al Franken and Norm Coleman recon debate. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your insight. Best of luck on all of that.